Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Somebody said if he's awake, he's lying. Most definitely. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Diana. Okay, so here is YouTube and here is TikTok. I am streaming from two places this morning, early on this Saturday morning. Hey, Aisha. TikTok's here. YouTube's here. Good morning. Good morning. Of course he's lying. But y'all know I'm not just going to come on here and tell y'all he's lying. I'm going to come on here and give y'all proof that he's lying. Somebody says Agenda 47 is not Project 2025. And clearly that person has not read Agenda 47, hasn't even taken the time to watch the videos that Donald Trump put out on his webpage, where he talks about each policy that he wants to implement. So yeah, we can't take that person who said that in the comments seriously. You're lying, Split. You're fucking lying. If you're telling me Agenda 47 is not derived from Project 2025, baby, you have a problem with comprehension. Your comprehension skills are flawed. And I'm going to block you because I know why you're here. Good morning, AR Stringer. I know why you're here. Let me go ahead and block you. Reading is fundamental. That's a sea liner. That is an obstructionist. That is someone that is down in the comment section to purposely derail the conversation. They've read both. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Nubian Goddess Sapphire. I'm over here on YouTube. Good morning, Virgo baby. Nashorm Ofasu. Good morning. Yeah, we tired of the lie. We really are. But I told you, all they do is lie. Now, this person came in, wanted to debate if Project 2025 and Agenda 47 are the same thing. Who said that they were the same thing? Agenda 47, in my opinion, is derived from Project 2025 because a lot of Agenda 47 matches up, it links up to what they are advocating for in Project 2025. Period. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that. April Morgan, he goes around lying simply because his MAGA nuts will believe him. He's not talking to us. He's not really talking to us. He's trying to get to the MAGA nuts. He doesn't want the MAGA nuts swayed at all. There's no way that he's going to be able to tell us that project, he's not involved in Project 2025. Because you know what we're going to do? Excuse me. What we're going to do is we're going to go out and start digging. We're going to start reading. We're going to start exposing, right? The MAGA nuts are not going to do that. They are loyal to the words that are coming out of his mouth. So yeah, he's not trying to convince us that he has nothing to do with Project 2025 or he knows nothing about Project 2025. Hold on, I see hold on. Ooh, block. Exactly, hibiscus rose. And we are getting ready to, that's what we're going to do. He says, this is what he said in his tweet. First, let's break down the tweet. Okay. I know nothing about Project 2025. He claims to know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. He has no idea who is behind it. Steve Bannon is behind it. Steve Bannon is a part of his campaign, even though Steve Bannon is in jail now. Um, John McGinty is behind it, and John McGinty worked for Donald Trump's campaign, still has ties to Donald Trump. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, he's a part of Project 2025. Okay, and him and Mike Johnson are in communication regularly. There are several others that are a part of his campaign that are also a part of Project 2025. The rumor has it that he has chosen his vice president, and that is supposed to be Michael Flynn. I don't know how true that is, but Michael Flynn is a domestic terrorist who is also a part of Project 2025. You cannot tell me that this man doesn't know who is behind it and he knows nothing about Project 2025. He goes on to say, I disagree with some of the things they are saying, and some of the things they are saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. So if you know nothing about Project 2025, how can you turn around and tell us that you disagree with some of the things that Project 2025 is saying and what the people are saying about Project 2025? Okay. Anything they do, I wish them luck. Then he turns around and slaps us in the face by telling the people that he's in cahoots with, he's wishing them luck in what it is that they are trying to implement. And then he ends it with, but I have nothing to do with them. Let's revert back to, I don't know who's behind it. I don't know anything about Project 2025, but yet he disagrees with it. Okay? That's the breakdown of the tweet. The tweet alone says he's a fucking liar. Okay? Okay. So now let's move on. Let me switch the screen. My people over on TikTok, you will have audio only. You will have audio only. And my people over on YouTube will have audio and video. I'm sorry, TikTok peeps, because I wish I could provide you with a video, but every time I do this, lately, if I include a video and I'm not in TikTok studio, there's a warning that pops up on the screen that says you are using unoriginal content, meaning I'm using somebody else's content. Okay, so you will only have audio. Okay, so we're going to listen. We're going to listen to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is speaking at the Heritage Foundation President's Club meeting back in 2017. The people that he says he does not know. And in this speech, you will hear him confirm some of the things that they want to implement and that he's on board. But yet he's trying to tell us he knows nothing about Project 2025 or who's behind it. Okay? All right. So I'm getting ready to hit the play button. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Heritage Foundation President Dr. Ed Fulner.
Remember, this is back in 2017. So back in 2017, the president was somebody different than the president of today. The president of today is Kevin Roberts. Okay, so this is a different man, a different president back in 2017. But everything else remains the same.
Thank you, my dear.
Hold on, let me pause because I see a lot of distractors, obstructionists getting down in the comment section saying that that's not President Trump's plan. First of all, he's not the president, he's the former president. Second, they are bringing up Agenda 47 because that's the spin that they are putting on this thing. If you have read his Agenda 47 or have watched the videos that he put out detailing Agenda 47 and your comprehension skills are up to par, then you will find the direct links from Agenda 47 to Project 2025. Okay, let's continue.
Dear friends and fellow members of the Heritage Foundation, we at Heritage know why President Trump was elected President of the United States, because he listened to the forgotten men and women of America and promised that if they elected him, he would not.
The forgotten men and women of America are racist white people, Christian racist white people, Christian racist nationalists.
Not forget them. He has kept his promise despite the Washington's political and media elites being shocked by it. Mr. President, we at the Heritage Foundation stand ready to help you keep your promise and to realize the promise of America. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
You don't know them.
Thank you, Ed, for that really wonderful and dynamic introduction. And because of Ed, I hear they had to make this room a lot larger quickly. So that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. And really, Ed's dedication and leadership and devotion to our country has really been spectacular. We appreciate it very much. I'd like to begin by providing a quick...
Hold on. Some of y'all got it twisted. When I come, no matter what I do, whether it's a live stream, or whether it's a video, I'm never talking to MAGA nuts. I'm never talking to Trump supporters ever. I'm never talking to them. I'm talking to people who are open-minded. I'm talking to people who want to know the truth. MAGA nuts and Trump supporters are neither of those things. I don't come on here to try to get them to believe the facts that are out there. Never. Don't get it twisted. I'm not that creator that's trying to hold hands with MAGA nut supporters to try to bring them on board. I am not that creator. I don't give a shit about MAGA nuts or Trump supporters. I don't waste my breath for them. I am here for those who want to hear the truth, those who want the facts, period. End of story. I've said it over and over again. MAGA nuts and Trump supporters are beneath me. I wish to have no conversation with them, but they like to come into my space. So sometimes I go back and forth with them, but nothing that I do is to try to prove to them, is to try them to get them to believe anything, ever, ever. Okay? Okay.
Update on our economy. I don't think too many people in this room will be upset,
Right.
but the stock market hit today 23,000. That's an all-time record high. So congratulations to everybody in our country.
Biden has squashed it.
It's an incredible honor to be here tonight to celebrate this really wonderful foundation. Just a few months from now, you will mark the 45th anniversary of this esteemed institution. For nearly a half a
For those of you who are asking, where can you find Agenda 47? Number one, if you know me, you know I have discussed Agenda 47. I actually did an entire series bringing into you the video formats that he put out on his website. You can go into my playlist on YouTube and on TikTok. I've got a playlist titled Donald Trump's Agenda 47. Each one of those videos is him detailing his policy, his plan. And if you read Project 2025, you can connect the dots. You will certainly see that Agenda 47 is derived from Project 2025. You can find the playlist again on TikTok and on YouTube. You can go to his website, donaldjtrump.com. There's a link that says Agenda 47. They have it in written format and they have it in video format, because he's not going to read. The MAGA nuts are not going to read, right? So, yeah, you can go to his website and give him the traffic on his website, or you can go to the playlist on TikTok and on YouTube.
century, you have been titans in the fight to defend, promote, and preserve our great American heritage. Few people have worked harder to protect this heritage than Ed Meese,
that is
a fearless.
What heritage, when he talks about their great heritage, what heritage do you think that is? If you're confused, you can look up Manifest Destiny and you can look up the Seven Mountains Band-Aid. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've talked about all of this. Now, Manifest Destiny, you may not find over here. The Seven Mountains Mandate, you may not find over here. You may find those videos over on YouTube because I had a different page when I discussed those two issues. You may find them over on YouTube. Okay? Their heritage, Manifest Destiny, and the Seven Mountains Mandate. They all tie into Project 2025 and Agenda 47. Okay? Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm going to be interrupting because I do aim to talk to the people who are genuinely trying to learn, who are genuinely craving this information, so it will help them to make a better decision when they get into that voting booth, when they are looking to be informed. They're looking to be informed. Those are the people that I'm talking to. Okay? I don't have this problem on YouTube. It's minute over on YouTube. It's on TikTok where the trolls like to come in and this and that and see here. What are your qualifications? My qualifications are up on my wall. How about that? 4 years, 6 years, 8 years of education. Okay, so let's go.
Defender of our Constitution. Where is Ed? Where is Ed?
Thank you, Paige. Over on YouTube.
Thank you, Ed. And Mrs. Meese, thank you very much. Thank you.
Knows them very well.
Thank you.
Not know them, right?
Wow, that's a very popular couple, I must say.
Mm.
I also want to express my deep appreciation to the great Steve Moore, who is with us tonight. Steve, where is Steve? Steve has been fantastic. We've been working long and hard together. We're thrilled to be joined by many distinguished guests, including Senator Joni Ernst and Congressman Ron DeSantis. Please set up. Where's Ron? Ron DeSantis. Thank you, Ron, for everything. And thank you, Joni.
Remember I told y'all, pause, remember I told y'all that if you want a real view of Project 2025, if you want to see Project 2025 in action, I've said this on many occasions in many videos, look to Florida. Here is Ron DeSantis at the Heritage Foundation's President's Club meeting. Okay? And just pay attention to everything that Ron DeSantis has done in the state of Florida. That is your clear view of Project 2025. Everything that Ron DeSantis has done in the state of Florida is textbook Project 2025. And then you can also take a look at what's going on in Texas. Textbook Project 2025. How they are ripping up and doing things in those two states is what they plan to do nationwide. Nationwide. Okay? Okay, so I just had to pause it because he's calling out Ron DeSantis by name. And that ties into everything that Ron DeSantis has been doing in the state of Florida, which ties into Project 2025. Yeah, Oklahoma is included, but Oklahoma is not as deep. Well, I'll say Oklahoma is as deep. They've all got varying degrees of how they have implemented parts of Project 2025. But I would say that the state of Texas and the state of Florida are light years ahead of the state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma is catching up, though. Oklahoma is catching up.
Tony, thank you, Joe.
And Ohio is trying.
Thanks, Ron. Finally, I want to express our gratitude to Kay James, Bill Walton, and the dedicated scholars and staff at the Heritage Foundation. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great job. Everyone here tonight understands a core truth that for America to have confidence in our future, we must have pride in our history. As Americans, we have inherited a special legacy of freedom, culture, laws, traditions, and values.
Louisiana.
Your organization is named the Heritage Foundation because you understand that our glorious heritage is the foundation of everything we hope to achieve. You understand that human progress must be built upon a firm foundation of timeless truths. These truths are immortalized in our founding documents. And the most important truth our founders understood was this: freedom is not a gift from government. Freedom is a gift from God. And that is why we're here
Right,
tonight,
Happy Child.
to rededicate ourselves to the
You know,
defense of our
you know the buzzword.
God-given rights.
Exactly.
We're here to ensure that we defend this legacy from any threat, foreign or domestic, that would seek to weaken our values, diminish our freedoms, or dissolve the bonds that hold us so strongly and firmly together. As our nation has responded in recent weeks to a series of heartbreaking tragedies, from the catastrophic storms to the devastating wildfires to the horrific mass shooting in Las Vegas, we are reminded that no destructive force on earth is stronger than the courage, character, and love of the American people.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me pause.
This is a time of...
Where am I watching this? I am on one of my favorite places, the C-SPAN website. Anything you want to know what's going on with the government, and it's on video format, you probably can find it on the C-SPAN website or on their YouTube channel. This speech was given back in 2017. He is speaking before the Heritage Foundation's President's Club. That means they are the top of the top in the Heritage Foundation. It's probably the Heritage Foundation, probably the biggest donors, financial supporters, contributors, right? He's speaking before them. Back in 2017, he was president of the United States then. Okay? So you can find this on the C-SPAN website. I also believe that you can find this on the White House website, because he was speaking in the capacity of president of the United States. It may be on there's a Trump archive section, so it may be in that section, but you can definitely find, just Google, because I know you guys will want to share it. Just Google, when this live is done processing over on YouTube, you can share this video. But you can Google Trump makes remarks at the Heritage Foundation, something like that, and you'll find it. It's like a 30-minute speech. Okay? I only talk to people who are really interested and want to know. And somebody asked the question, where can I find this? To share it, where can I find it? That's where you can find it.
A great challenge for the world, but also a time of great opportunity. We can unleash the creative power of our citizens, unlock new frontiers in science and medicine, and usher in prosperity for communities all across our land. But to achieve these great things, we must hold fast to the values that define who we are as a people and as a nation. Everyone here tonight is united by these same enduring beliefs. We believe that the Constitution is the greatest political document in human history, and that judges should interpret the Constitution as written.
Exactly.
We believe we should preserve our history, not tear it down. Now they're even trying to destroy statues of Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
What's next? Has to be stopped. It's heritage. We believe that America is a nation of opportunity because we are a nation of laws, and we support the incredible men and women of law enforcement. We believe that our great American flag should be treated with reverence and respect, and that young Americans should be taught to love our country, honor our anthem, and proudly recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
We don't know nothing about Project 2025.
We believe
Listen,
that strong nations...
He don't know nothing about Project 2025. This is in Project 2025. Okay? This is in Project 2025.
Nations must have strong borders, and that our most important job is to serve the needs of America and the American people. That includes common sense reforms like cracking down on sanctuary cities, ending catch and release, and very importantly, ending chain migration. The loyal, hardworking citizens of our country deserve a government that shows them the same loyalty in return. Finally, we believe that the basis for international security and peace is mutual cooperation among independent and sovereign nations. This is the message I delivered in my address to the United Nations. I told the leaders in that hall that just like I expect, and we all understand this, and they finally understand it because there was a great misunderstanding, that just like I expect them to put the needs of their countries first, I will always put the needs of our country first. That is why we are withdrawing from one-sided international deals like the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the Paris Climate Accord. Devastating to our country if we would have gone into those deals. My administration is working to strengthen old alliances and form new friendships based on shared interests, shared goals, and shared values. As a demonstration of America's will, we have passed historic increases in defense spending. You saw that just last week. Because, as Ronald Reagan said, we believe in peace through strength. We've made historic strides in the fight against ISIS, dealing them one brutal defeat after another. We are confronting dangerous regimes from North Korea to Iran. Last week, I announced our strategy to ensure the Iranian dictatorship never acquires a nuclear weapon. And we have imposed tough terrorism sanctions on Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. I also canceled the last administration's one-sided deal with the communist Cuban regime, and we will not lift sanctions until political and religious freedoms are restored for the Cuban people. At the same time, we are confronting the socialist oppression of the Maduro regime. The problem in Venezuela is not that socialism has been poorly implemented, but that socialism has been faithfully implemented. We stand in solidarity with the people of Venezuela in their struggle for freedom. Here in America, we are strengthening our own freedom by appointing judges to the bench who will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. With your help, we have not only nominated, but confirmed the new Supreme Court Justice who is doing a spectacular job, Neil Gorsuch. We have taken action to repeal the EPA's so-called Clean Power Plan, and we have ended, finally, the...
That right there is specifically Project 2025. So he's letting these people know, way back in 2017, he was trying to do things based on Project 2025, things that they wanted to do. And if you listen to some recent interviews, he has reaffirmed that he will get rid of the EPA, the Department of Education, All of that is Project 2025. Okay?
The war on clean, beautiful coal. People going back to work. They're going back to work. Over the last 9 months, we have removed job-killing regulations at a record pace. In fact, in 9 months, we have done more, they say, than any president in history. And we're 9 months, and there's more to come. We have statutory guidelines. We have to go by a period of time, but there's much more to come. And I believe in regulation, but it has to be limited to what we need. We want clean water. We want clean air. It has to be fair. We also want, by the way, jobs. And our regulatory reductions are going to put more Americans back to work and more lobbyists out of work. I don't know, there could be some lobbyists in this room, sorry. Which is why regulatory reform is a crucial part of our drive to drain the swamp. On the economic front, we're upholding the legacy of America's greatest presidents, from Washington to Jackson to Lincoln, by defending American industry and defending our American workers. We want more products stamped with those beautiful words and letters, made in the USA.
He doesn't make his products in the USA.
To restore opportunity and freedom, we must continue our campaign to repeal and replace the disaster known as Obamacare. And I've been hearing that phrase for 7 years. 7 years I've been hearing it. So have you. And I got here and I thought, maybe when I sit down at that desk the first day, January 20th, I'll have something to sign. Not as easy as we thought, but we're going to get it done. You watch. And I'm pleased that Democrats have finally responded to my call for them to take responsibility for their Obamacare disaster and work with Republicans to provide much-needed relief to the American people. While I commend the bipartisan work done by Senators Alexander and Murray, and I do commend it, I continue to believe Congress must find a solution to the Obamacare mess instead of providing bailouts to insurance companies. After many, many years of government obstructing job creation, you have now an administration that promotes job creation and celebrates the dignity of work. Unemployment is, and this is something so important, unemployment is almost at a 17-year low. GDP growth reached more than 3.2% last quarter, and people said it would take years to get there. Manufacturing confidence is at record levels, but our country and our economy cannot take off like they should and like it should unless we transform America's outdated, complex, and extremely burdensome tax code.
Thank you, everybody.
The Great Heritage Foundation has been at the center of several incredible tax cuts in American history. Working closely with the Heritage Foundation, Ronald Reagan cut taxes to unleash the economic miracle of the 1980s. You understand that lower taxes mean bigger paychecks, more jobs, and stronger growth. At the heart of our plan is a tax cut for everyday working Americans. The first $12,000 for a single...
Pause here. He did do a tax cut for everyday hardworking Americans, and he did a tax cut for millionaires, billionaires, and corporations. The tax cuts for the everyday hardworking people were pennies compared to the tax cuts for the millionaires, billionaires, and corporations. the tax cuts for the everyday hardworking people was temporary. I think the tax cuts ended before he even got out of the White House or just after he got out of the White House for everyday hardworking Americans. And today, you are still paying for those tax cuts. When you file for your tax refund and you realize you're paying more taxes at the end of the year, it's because of those tax cuts Donald Trump gave you. You really didn't get a tax cut. You really didn't. However, the tax cuts for the millionaires and billionaires and the corporations is permanent. That's what they thought. Come to find out, they're up in 2025, which is why they are so desperately trying to get this man back into office, because they know if Joe Biden is in office, he will not extend those tax cuts to the millionaires, the billionaires, and the corporations. Donald Trump, he will extend those tax cuts to the millionaires, billionaires, and the corporations. And he probably will increase the tax cuts. Okay? Okay? So, yes, he did.
Single individual, and the first $24,000 for a married couple will be tax-free. We are nearly doubling the zero bracket, and we substantially increase the child tax credit for working families, which so many people want, including my daughter, Ivanka. To save Americans precious time and money,
Y'all hear that
we
loud?
are also simplifying the tax
Y'all
code.
hear that loud?
Under our framework, the vast majority of families will be able to file their taxes on a single sheet of paper. In addition to simplification, the other pillar of our tax plan is reducing our crushing business tax so that we can restore America's competitive edge. Today, our business tax rate is 60% higher than our average economic competitor. This is a giant self-inflicted economic wound. That is why we will cut the corporate tax rate from 35% all the way down to not more than 20%, way below our average competition out there in this very competitive world.
Oh, how much longer?
And for small businesses that file taxes as sole proprietors, S corporations or partnerships, we will cap the top tax rate at a maximum of 25%.
Exactly, Georgia.
It's a tremendous reduction from what it is, and I will tell you, it's the biggest reduction in taxes in the history of this country. For the more than 30 million American small businesses in America, our plan cuts their top marginal rate by about 40%. This will be the lowest top marginal rate and income tax rate for small and medium-sized businesses in more than 80 years. To maximize job creation for at least the next 5 years, we will allow our companies and our manufacturers to expense the full cost of new equipment in the year they buy it. 1 year, it's written off. Makes me want to go immediately back into business. And yes, we are ending the horrible and very unfair estate tax, also known as the death tax. Finally, we are going to bring back trillions of dollars currently parked overseas. You look at the money that can't come back into our country. I've been saying for years it's $2.5 trillion. Democrats want it back, Republicans want it back, and they have for a long time. They've never been able to make a deal. Lack of leadership. They've never been able to make a deal. We're putting that in our tax plan. We're going to bring, I think it's going to be over $3 trillion. It could be substantially more than that. Because if I'm saying $2.5 trillion, and I've been saying it for many years, we know one thing, it's a lot more now. Nobody really knows the answer. I will tell you, I think it's very substantially over $3 trillion that will be brought back in our plan and put to work in our country, not some other country. Our framework provides a one-time low tax on profits currently sitting offshore so that this money can come back right where it started, come back home to America where it belongs. And believe me, we can use it in this country. We need it so badly for so many things, including infrastructure, which we'll also be doing. We will eliminate the penalty on bringing home, and we have to do that, future earnings. My Council of Economic Advisors estimates that this change, along with a lower business tax rate, would likely give the typical American household around a $4,000 pay raise. And that's money that'll be spent in our economy. Our tax plan will ensure that companies stay in America, grow in America, and hire in America. We will lift our people from welfare to work, from dependence to independence, and from poverty to total, beautiful prosperity. Which is why we need the help of the Heritage Foundation and everyone here tonight to get our tax cuts through the House, through the Senate, and to my desk for signature. So you've got to call up your local senator and say, Senator, don't give him a hard time. Don't give him a hard time. It's going to be hard getting the Democrats because they're obstructionists and they vote in blocks. But if we get the Republicans we need, which is virtually every single one of them, because that's what we need, we will get that largest tax cut in the history of our country. And you will see things happen like have never happened before. We will have employment, we will have jobs, we will have companies moving back into our country, and we certainly won't have companies leaving anymore, that I can tell you. So get your senator, call your congressman. You don't have to call Ron. I think Ron's okay, right, Ron? You're okay? Good. Ron's good.
Yeah,
most of them are good.
That's Ron DeSantis.
But there are a couple. I think we're going to get there, Ron. Ron is incredible. So let's give our country the best Christmas present of all. Massive tax relief. And speaking of Christmas, yes, you want to hear it? Speaking, I'm talking about Christmas present. I'll give you a bigger Christmas present. You're going to be saying Merry Christmas again, okay? You're going to say Merry Christmas. You know, you go to the stores and they have the red walls and they have the snow and they even have the sleigh and the whole thing. They don't have Merry Christmas. They don't have Merry Christmas. I want them to say, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year, happy holidays, but I want Merry Christmas. We're going to say it again. It's happening already. You know it. You know it's happening again. This is our chance to truly make a difference. This is our opportunity to unleash a new middle-class miracle. This is our once-in-a-generation opportunity to revitalize our economy, revive our industry, and renew the American dream. The Heritage Foundation can once again help make history by helping to take this incredible idea, this proven idea, this tax cut, making it a reality for millions and millions of patriotic Americans. We know that when the hardworking people of this country huddle in the break room, at the rest stop, or at the end of a long shift, they take pride in knowing that the projects they work and the products they make aren't just building business, they're building families and communities, and most of all, they are building this nation that we all love so much. The fact is, the soul of a country is found in its people, and we owe it to our citizens to provide them with a future of opportunity where they can earn a living with dignity and purpose. We want every parent to be able to care for their children, and we want every child to know a future opportunity, and we want them to have security, and we want them to have hope. We have it in our power to build this future together, and we will build upon the firm foundation of our great American heritage. As long as we remember who we are and what we are fighting for, then we will never, ever fail. And as long as we have pride in our country, confidence in our future, and faith in our God, then our best days are yet to come. Our values will endure, our communities will flourish, our people will prosper, and America, the land we love,
Did you hear that?
will
Our
thrive
That's
as
not us.
never, ever
Black people.
before.
That's not us.
Thank you to the Heritage Foundation.
The Heritage Foundation, the parents cannot know.
Thank you.
The parents cannot know these people. The parents cannot know these people.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Heritage Foundation, and thank you to everyone here tonight. Thank you to every American whose hard work and patriotism makes our country run. And again, God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you all. Thank you.
You can watch that. You can go to the C-SPAN website, and you can find that over on the C-SPAN website. Okay? Let me adjust my camera here. It's on the C-SPAN website. I'm sure you can find other videos of it over on YouTube. That was a speech that he gave at the Heritage Foundation's President Club meeting back in 2017. He's known about this for a while. And for those of you that are saying Project 2025, it's mostly over here on TikTok, with the obstructionists. Project 2025 was just released 2 years ago. Stop the cap, stop the gaslighting. Do you think they wrote Project 2025 2 years ago, edited it, all of the contributors came together and they put it out 2 years ago? Project 2025 has been in the workings for years. They've been trying to get a president to implement it for years. For years. They tried with Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan implemented some of the things, but they couldn't get him on board for all of the things. But in 2016, they found their useful fool in Donald Trump. They found their useful fool. The problem is some of the things that he tried to implement, he had people around him that stopped that shit. The John Kellys, the people around him, General Milley, they wouldn't let him implement a lot of the crazy shit in Project 2025. But in 2024, should he get back into office, he will have none of those people around him to stop him. Those same extremists that he fired, like Steve Bannon and Jason Miller and Michael Flynn, those extremists that were around him that are a part of this, John McKenty, yeah, they'll be right back in his king's court, because that's what he is now, thanks to the Supreme Court. They will be a part of his king's court, and they will be able to do exactly what they tried to do in 2016. Yeah. Yeah, it's from 2017. The purpose of me playing that video is to prove to you that when Donald Trump says, I don't know these people, let me bring up the tweet over here on YouTube. This tweet right here. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. But then turns around and says, I disagree with some of the things. If you don't know nothing about Project 2025, then what are you disagreeing with? If you don't know who is behind it, why are you shaking hands? There's photos being posted out there of him meeting with and shaking hands with the president of the Heritage Foundation that is currently the president of the Heritage Foundation now. Why are you speaking to them, letting them know this is the plan, this is what you're going to do, all of what they want that's listed in Project 2025, you speaking before the Heritage Foundation? Why, when I go through Agenda 47, I can connect your policies to what's in Project 2025? Your policies, which is Agenda 47. Yeah, I can connect them to what they're advocating for in Project 2025. I can also connect both Agenda 47 and Project 2025 to Manifest Destiny and the Seven Mountains Mandate. All of which is to secure a future for white Christian people in this country, which we call Christian nationalists. Yeah. Go play with somebody else. Get out of my face and go play with somebody else. Okay? And so now what we're going to do is the president of the Heritage Foundation today is Kevin Roberts. Kevin Roberts is so confident in his stink right now. He's so confident that he is going out on different platforms advocating for Project 2025. And he went on over to MSNBC's The Weekend with Simone Sanders, forget Allison's last name, and Michael Steele. And we're going to watch that interview. We're going to listen to what Kevin has to say in that interview. I found it just a few minutes that I watched before I was like, oh no, I got to share this with everybody else. We got to watch it all together. Yeah, we got to watch this together. Let me find it. Hold on. I got to pull it up. We got to watch this together because Remember in the little video clip that I shared the other day where he said the reason why news media like MSNBC is basically freaking out? This is why. It's because of this interview. Let me share my screen. Just like before, TikTok, you will have the audio. YouTube, you will have audio and video. Let me make sure it's all set up properly. Okay. Let's listen.
Radically remake the federal government if executed, with its stated goal being, quote, to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. The project is built on 4 pillars, which go well beyond previous transition efforts. There's the policy agenda, personnel, training, and a 180-day playbook to execute the think tank's plans. Many authors of the blueprint are former Trump officials. Joining us now, one of the architects of Project 2025, the president of the Heritage Foundation, Dr. Kevin Roberts. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Roberts. Thank you for joining us and coming. I know people are like, y'all got the architect of the 2025? Yes, because everyone has been talking about it. And we saw an interview that you did with the Associated Press, and we've been reading through some things. And I think we just want to first start with anchoring this conversation in. You told the New York Times that this plan is a plan that is for anyone. It's not just for Donald Trump. You would like if President Biden would implement some of it, but you don't think that that's going to happen. And so you reject the assertion that this is a plan that was cooked up specifically for the second coming of the Trump administration.
I appreciate that question because as your lobby shows when you walk in, you've got the word honesty and the word accuracy there. That's an honest and accurate depiction, and I'm grateful. Number one, the Heritage Foundation couldn't do that because we are nonpartisan. We can't be tied to one candidate. Secondly, we have offered a briefing of Project 2025 dating back to last year to every candidate for presidency, including President Biden. Honest to goodness, I would have been thrilled if President Biden and his team asked for a briefing. We understand that we have differences of opinion on just about everything. But at Heritage, we believe in telling the truth with a smile on our face. But the last point I should make is that now that President Trump is the nominee, and President Biden has not taken a Project 2025 briefing, President Trump is going to make decisions about policy in his administration if he wins. Project 2025 is something that's going to transcend the next 4 years, the next 10 years. It really is, for the first time in the history of the conservative movement, the apparatus for policy and personnel. That's the most important thing to remember.
I have one follow-up. It's just that you have said that this plan is about institutionalizing Trumpism. So, because I also know you all, not just the president of the Heritage Foundation, you're also president of the Heritage Action, which is the political action committee. And so is it tied to Trump or not?
I said the context for that comment to the New York Times was that the work of the Heritage Foundation was to institutionalize Trumpism. Trumpism as a new version of conservatism, a conservatism that recognizes that by every objective measure, the United States is weaker in 2024 than it was in 1984. We also happen to think that's reversible, by the way. We're ultimately optimists. And by institutionalizing Trumpism, what we're saying is that even though we are known as Ronald Reagan's think tank, I'm a son of the Reagan Revolution, I'm very proud of that, that's 40 years ago. And we need to understand what time it is in America. And right now, Donald Trump, whether someone likes it or not, I happen to like it, is the standard bearer for conservatism.
Well, Michael, what time is it?
Well, I don't think it's time for Trumpism in that regard, because one of the things that as a lifelong follower and participant in Heritage, having spoken at various times there in the roles that I've played in the party, I see this as a dramatic shift away from those Reagan-esque principles when you have someone like Trump who has advocated some of the things he has. But before we get to that, I want to get to the nub of this, because you can't really do anything until you remove what has been identified as the problem, and that is 50,000 federal employees. Axios noted, quote, the massive headhunting quest aims to recruit 20,000 people to serve in the next administration as a down payment on 4,000 presidential appointments plus potential replacements for as many as 50,000 federal workers who are policy adjacent, as Trumpers put it. Policy adjacent to what? I mean, you're talking about people who've been in federal government. My daddy was a federal government employee, so I would be really appalled thinking that he could be on someone's chopping block because they think he is part of some deep state effort. talk to us about what that looks like. If Heritage is calling for removing 50,000 federal employees, who are you replacing them with?
The number
and where do they come from? I mean, even if it's not 50,000, if it's 10,000, if it's 2,000, where are they coming from, and who are you replacing them with? Because I suspect a lot of those people you're talking about have been in the federal service for a long time and have served not just Republican administrations, but also Democratic administrations, et cetera.
They have, and 95% of them who give political contributions give them to the Democratic Party. I reject out of hand, Michael, that somehow
you're going to fire someone because they wrote a check to a Democratic candidate.
No, we're going to fire someone, and the number needs to be more than 50,000, considering that there are more than 2 million federal employees. Because over the last century, the radical left has seen the administrative state as the fourth branch of government. They're unelected bureaucrats. Nothing against your dad, obviously, as a human being. You know that about me and Heritage. But ultimately, we have to devolve power from the imperial city of Washington back to the people.
Because he wrote a check to a Democratic candidate without any appreciation or understanding where his political allegiance.
We will dramatically reform agencies that take rights away from people.
Why does that matter?
They're doing their job about a mission that's misaligned. For example, the U.S. Department of Education. Thankfully, President Trump deserves credit for saying that he wants to end the Department of Education. That means that employees in that agency, even if they've been serving that mission with great competence, will have to go look for another job. What's more important than that, Michael, is that we actually have a delivery mechanism for education in this country that reflects the 21st century. So at Heritage, we see this a very different way. You want to look at it from the lens of unelected bureaucrats, most of whom, not your dad, I guess, who want to say that they are more important than the everyday American. We want to look at it from the standpoint of the everyday American and say it's time that they are put in the driver's seat rather than unelected bureaucrats.
Yeah, but they aren't going to be in the driver's seat because they aren't going to be doing the jobs. The folks you're identifying who are Trump aligned are the ones who are going to be coming in.
You are positing that those people are incompetent. And I can tell you from looking at the resumes of the 11,000 that they're very well qualified.
As much as you're thinking I'm positing these people are incompetent, you're positing that they're somehow executing a nefarious agenda.
Some of them are. Why does the Environmental Protection Agency have 300?
Have you identified them?
If I could interject, because I did actually work for the federal government. As did the chairman, and I worked with a number of those we call them civil servants in the United States government, people who are not political appointees, and they have the institutional knowledge.
They acted that way.
Well, I think Alicia has a question along those lines about one of the policy priorities that you all have identified in Project 2025.
I actually, Dr. Roberts, have a question about this upcoming election. Is your organization going to accept the results of the 2024 presidential election?
I believe that Dr. Roberts can't hear. So Alicia just asked, is your organization going to accept the results of the 2024 election, regardless of the outcome?
Yes, if there isn't massive fraud like there was in 2020.
What does that mean?
If there isn't massive fraud.
Do you believe that there was not massive fraud?
There was massive fraud. We have an election fraud database that has documented that over years. By the way, the Heritage Foundation has been concerned about election integrity for decades, not just about 2020. We've been documenting this problem for a very long time. And if one of the
the documented fraud that they have been calculating or tabulating over the years, it's the fact that we vote, people who look like me. It's the fact that we vote, Black people and brown people. That's the fraud. Because, to them, we're not citizens. We're 3/4 or 3/5 of a human. Let's be real.
I believe, according to the Heritage Foundation, sir, by your count, Heritage Foundation has done an investigation, and according to your count, there have been 1,513 proven instances of voter fraud across the United States since 1982.
Yeah, that's probably
1,513.
Very hard to document, and the Democrat Party is very good at fraud. The key thing here, which I think we would both agree on, is that we aspire at the Heritage Foundation to seeing a poll after this election where every American believes their vote was counted. I care as deeply about someone on the political left with whom I disagree, saying that they have confidence in the outcome of the election. It seems, rather than turn this into a partisan conversation, which you do a good job of at MSNBC.
He cares about the Democrats on the left, but he calls us radical left, radical Democrats. But he's also telling us that he cares. Yeah, okay. And when they say the radical left, radical Democrats, he's talking about us, the people that look like us, people who look like us. That's who he's talking about. Don't get it twisted. He's not talking about white women, white men. The radical Democrats, the radical left, is the people who look like us. The people who look like us.
DC, we might say we aspire to something more noble, which is that every American believes their vote counts.
I mean, I don't think it's partisan to ask if you will accept the results of the election. Alicia, I don't know if can you hear Alicia now?
Yeah,
Alicia, do you have another question?
I can hear. I do have another question. I'm specifically interested as it relates, Dr. Roberts, to the deportation of immigrants in this country, just understanding sort of how it is going to work. When we talk about folks on the interior, how you see a future administration utilizing the National Guard, ICE, police forces to deport something like 11 million people.
Could you hear? Yeah. So she is asking about immigration and how you see immigration, how in this plan, how you talk about using like the National Guard to deport individuals. Like what is the, Alicia, and do tell me if I am adequately
people on the interior
summarizing.
specifically.
People on the interior specifically, not people in the border, people within this country.
Well, first of all, we need to close the border. And secondly, we need to have the biggest mass deportation system ever in the history of America, because it is unjust and illegal and evil that more than 10 million illegal aliens have come to this country. It's
Remember Donald Trump said he doesn't know anything about Project 2025 or who's behind it, but he has been talking about deporting. They're going to have the biggest deportation. And if he becomes president again, he said that repeatedly, right? He said that repeatedly. Steve Bannon was the one that speaks the number 10 million, right? This man is basically saying, he's confirming that this is what they plan to do. This is the president of Project 2025. You will also find it in Project 2025. It will be laid out. So Donald Trump knows nothing about Project 2025. Now, I've already pointed out the Department of Education, where he says he's going to get rid of it. That's Project 2025. I've already pointed out where he's talked about he's going to get rid of the Environmental Protection Agency. He said it in the speech that we just watched that he did at the Heritage Foundation back in 2017. That's part of Project 2025. Now we're talking about immigration that Donald Trump has repeatedly talked about. The biggest mass deportation is going to happen if he's elected president. This man is now specifically speaking on that, who is the president of Project 2025. But Donald Trump is trying to tell us that he knows nothing about Project 2025. Okay? Okay, somebody says Agenda 47. It's in Agenda 47 as well. Hold on, I see some Ku Klux Klan members that we got to get rid of. Let me hit play.
Imperative that we send those people back, invite them back to come through the legal system. We love immigrants at Heritage, but we also love the rule of law. So
how do you plan to carry that out?
Well,
are you talking about going door to door? Because that's what I could read from the plan, but I think
the first thing is that there's going to be a lot of self-deportation. The interesting thing, as you no doubt know, is that simply talking about this and beginning to implement a plan, and President Trump deserves a lot of credit for talking about this, causes people to say, I don't want to run the risk of being arrested for doing.
And remember, I told you, you want a visual of how Project 2025 will be nationwide. Watch what Ron DeSantis has been doing in the state of Florida. Remember, he implemented that immigration law that they will be arrested, and they left. They left the state of Florida. So now he's saying, just simply talking about it, immigrants will self-deport themselves. They'll leave, right? Project 2025.
doing something illegal. But secondly, there are great plans using the Department of Homeland Security to return these people back to south of the border. The great thing is, even a majority of people on the political left agree with this because they see the damage that this has done.
Well, before we go,
I think we want to take a couple.
South of the border, as if brown people are the only immigrants in this country. Brown people are specifically being targeted, but brown people are not the only immigrants in this country. And they're planning to mass deport whether you're here legally or not.
More minutes, and so I know we're being told to wrap, but we want to take a few more minutes.
I'll stay as long as you want.
No. Just ask you real quick. So what do these people do? What are they doing now?
Which people?
The folks, the 11 million, 20 million, whatever you want to deport.
A lot of them are committing crimes like murdering the 12-year-old girl in Houston. In fact,
so that's one out of 11 million. What is
we can take the remaining time of the segment, and I can give you a lot
in
of
Texas, undocumented immigrants were 37.1% less likely to be convicted of a crime. Undocumented immigrants, and according to a survey, University of California Riverside study, 33% less likely to be in prison as of 2021.
Young lady killed in
I'm just giving the numbers.
Well, what do you tell the parents of those people, those young girls who were killed? This is
the
preponderance of these people, Michael, are male.
What is the difference?
What do you tell the parents of Black and brown people who've been murdered by the police that they want to indemnify? The reason why they want to indemnify the police, give them qualified immunity, is because they have a plan for the police. They will militarize the police. And when I say militarize the police, I'm talking the slave patrol. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. They don't have sympathy or empathy for Black and brown mothers whose children have been murdered in the streets.
Difference between an illegal immigrant who unfortunately engages in that activity.
And we don't like that. I want to be clear. We don't use the term illegal. So
yeah, we don't.
Undocumented individuals.
They're illegal aliens.
Undocumented individuals versus anyone else who commits the same crime. Well, I mean, so what you're saying is because you have this instance of individuals behaving badly, that's a reflection of every individual in that community, and that's just not the case.
No, what is the case is that because the preponderance.
I mean, what percentage of those people, the 11 million that you want to
answer your question.
I just want to clarify my question. Okay. That's what I'm trying to do. What percentage of those individuals that you want to get rid of, move out of the country, actually commit crimes?
Our analysis in Texas, Georgia, and New York shows that a preponderance of the illegals who have come in are unattached male, and there are unattached males, and the disproportionate number of them are people who are not even making any attempt to be illegal.
But what is that number?
Obviously,
are you
a large
talking
number
10
of them
out of 1,000, or are you talking, I'm just trying to get.
Well, I just would say, and if Alicia were sitting here and you could hear her, she would say that you are weaponizing a horrific murder to smear 11 million people.
That is a laughable assertion. What Joe Biden is doing is weaponizing the entire government.
Before we let you go, Dr. Roberts, I do want to ask you about abortion because it is an issue that is at the top of mind for folks all over this country right now, waiting on a case from the Supreme Court, EMTALA. In Louisiana, in places all over this country, abortion care is unavailable to people that may need it. You and the organization in this plan talks about changing the Department of Health and Human Services to the Department of Life. Do you think that women in America should be able to get an abortion if that is what their doctor says they need?
Abortion's not health care. I find it really interesting, if not worse, that you wouldn't support the change of the department name to the Department of Life. I thought we were all in support of life. We believe eminently in women's rights, and particularly women's rights in the womb. And so the real question that you should be asking
I just want to know, if I may, though, because I do ask the question.
Why are we talking about the people who are supporting legislation that abortion can happen until 3 days after the person's born? This is an absurd framing by this network.
That is an absurd assertion. As a person with an actual womb, I'm telling you that does not happen.
So
but let me just back up.
So do Virginia and New York who
Dr.
actually
Roberts,
filed this bill.
does Heritage and Project 2025 believe that a woman should be able to have an abortion if her doctor says that she needs one? It's a yes or no question.
Abortion is not health care.
So
Abortion
that is
is
a
the
no?
murder of a human being.
All right. Well, I disagree thoroughly
I figured
with
you might.
Dr. Kevin Roberts, but I am so glad that you were here, and we are so disappointed you couldn't hear Alicia. So that means you got to come back, Dr. Roberts. You got to come back, okay?
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back, folks.
9 o'clock Eastern right now means that the first presidential debate of 2020.
So when he said in that video clip that's now going viral about we are currently in the second American Revolution and there will be no bloodshed if the left allows it to happen, he wants us to sit back and allow them to reshape this country. He wants us to sit back and allow them to snatch our rights away. That's what he wants. Okay, I got one more clip that I found. I haven't heard this, but I saw it over on Instagram, and I want to play it because it's in response to Donald Trump's tweet. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. And it's a tweet that was put out by Ron Filipkowski over on Twitter. And it's Steve Bannon giving a speech. But in the tweet, Ron says, here is a Trump senior advisor and former appointee, John McKenty, who helped draft Project 2025, explaining to Steve Bannon last July how Trump plans to implement the plan immediately after taking office. But Trump doesn't know these people or anything about it. Now, before I play this clip, I want to hold on, I can't talk and do what I need to do. I want to address the obstructionists in the room. If I block you over here on TikTok, I blocked you for a reason. I don't want you or your lies or your presence in my space. And then you come over here to YouTube and say, I don't know why you blocked me. You can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to block your ass over here too. I don't want you near me. I don't want you in my space. I don't want your racist, hateful, willfully obtuse, sea-lining ass in my space. I blocked you. You want to advocate for RFK. You want to advocate for Donald Trump. You want to say you love Donald Trump. You want to tell me that you agree with Project 20. You want to do all of that. Don't think you're going to get blocked over here and you're going to come over here and yeah, you're not going to do that. And then you want to be bold enough to tell me that I blocked you over here. Yeah, baby, if you lead your sentence with you blocked me on TikTok, yeah, then I'm going to block you over here. Okay? I don't want you in my space. Go love on Trump and Project 2025 and be supportive of them and y'all spaces. Go on over to the MAGA group. Go on over there and yeah, they will love to hear what you got to say over in the MAGA lives. They all over the For You page, right? Go be over there with them. I don't want you over here. Hold on. I don't deal with sea liners. I don't deal with willfully obtuse people. I don't deal with people trying to gaslight me. I don't care about what it is that you have to say. I don't. And if you can't see yourself out, if you can't respect boundaries, then I'll help you. I'll show you the door and I'll help you to respect my boundaries. So let's play this clip and see what it has to say, what is being said, and we'll be out, y'all. My tummy is aching me. So, yeah, I want to go back to bed. Plus, I got a hair appointment later today, and I might go and get my nails done today.
Tell us what you're doing here. You two are now working together. These guys have come up with a plan that on the victory, the third victory, the second term, we hit the deck plates runner, right? There's 4,000 appointees by a president, 4,000 to run the entire government. 1,000 of those, I think, have to be Senate confirmed. But 3,000 can start work day one. Walk through what you guys are doing. I know, and I keep asking, do you work for Johnny or does Johnny work for you, right?
I definitely work for John. So what we're doing with Project 2025 is we're recruiting the MAGA America First Republicans right now so that we can take DC by storm in 2025. We're not going to go in like we did in 2017, where the establishment took over and co-opted much of the personnel of President Trump's administration. We're more prepared this time. We're recruiting grassroots conservatives, and we want all of you, if you want to serve in the next White House, next State Department, next Pentagon, we want you to sign up. Tell your sons, tell your daughters, tell all your friends. It's project2025.org.
So, Johnny, okay, you heard that? If you guys want to serve, you've got to get engaged now. You've got to be involved now, because one of the big parts of this is networking. It's not just training people up, but those networks that we do with grassroots organizations, with other organizations. Walk through, tell me what the plan is.
So we're collecting resumes. We're getting as much information as we can now to save the transition time on the back end. As you know, when a president wins, or president-elect wins, things happen very quickly, and you have a short amount of time to staff an entire administration. It's also looking beyond the 4,000 and what we can do with the bureaucracy itself. So we're thinking of creative policy things as well that will integrate with this.
Well, hold it. When we talk about that, let's talk about schedule. I mean, is there going to be a plan in place to start to take part the administrative state?
There has to be, and yes, there will be. The next president, if President Trump gets back in there, he needs to reorient the government that's in a way that hasn't been seen since Franklin Roosevelt did it with the New Deal. We need to gut these agencies. We need to start from scratch. We need to make a new government, essentially, because the one that we have now doesn't work for conservatives. It wasn't made for us. It's built against us. So we have to go back to the drawing board with these agencies.
Johnny, you...
That's the clip. But he says he knows nothing about Project 2025. He doesn't know who's behind it. But you got John McKenty. I don't know who the other senior Trump advisor is. And you have Steve Bannon. Okay? You have them telling us what the plan is. You have them telling us what the plan is. You have the leader, the president of the Heritage Foundation, telling us what the plan is. Somebody asked, will I share these clips? I will do, yes, I will share the clips. I got you. I got you. It'll be later. Okay? All of these people around Donald Trump are telling us the plan. But Donald Trump wants us to believe he knows nothing about Project 2025. And people are trying to gaslight us. Trump's plan is Agenda 47. Agenda 47 is Project 2025. Bitch. Go talk to somebody who hasn't read either one. Okay. I love y'all. Not you, MAGA nuts. Not you. My people know who I'm talking to. I love y'all. Y'all have a fantastic Saturday. At some point today, I will put out the clips. And the way that I have to do them, I have to do them so that I'm in them. Because if I'm not in them, then it gets dinged over here on TikTok as unoriginal content. So, because I have to be in them, it'll be a minute. Tomorrow, the latest. Because, yeah, going to get my hair done. And like I said, I might get my nails done. I'm getting ready to go play in my garden because I'm noticing yesterday, okay, for all of, that's it with the political talk. For all of y'all who follow me on Tabitha's Garden, yeah, so I put up this little trellis like thing, right? And I kind of like started it off and put my cucumber melon plant so that it will snake up on the trellis. And I'm noticing how the two are becoming one. And I'm so excited about that. And I'm going to go out and just love on my garden for a few minutes. Plus, I got to check for worms and all of that stuff. So, everything that I've shared with you all today has proven to you that Donald Trump knows about Project 2025. He's knee deep in it. He knows about Project 2025, and he knows who's behind it. He's in cahoots with them. I've shown you all of that today. I've shown you the thoughts coming directly from the mouth of the president of the Heritage Foundation. I've shown you that. I've specifically shown you two top advisors around Trump, Steve Bannon, John McGinty, and what they've had to say and how they plan on firing the federal government employees to bring in Trump loyalists. You notice he ain't mentioned nothing about education. He ain't mentioned nothing about experience in the field, none of that. If you're MAGA, the man specifically said MAGA, then you can apply and you'll probably get the job. You think I can apply and they look at me and hear my thought process? They don't want me a part of the federal government. Why? Because I'm not going to be loyal to Donald Trump. I will be loyal to you all. I will be loyal to you all. Okay? So they don't want anybody that's going to be loyal to taxpayers in this country. They want people that's going to be loyal to Donald Trump and their plan. Okay? So y'all have a fantastic day. Again, thank you all over here on YouTube for the super chats. Thank you for being a part of the live. Over here on TikTok, thank you all for the gifts. Thank you for being a part of the live. If you came in late at any point over here on TikTok, you can now go over to YouTube, and once it finished processing, you can watch the entire live to see all of the video clips, all of my comments. The video will be up and available for viewing over on YouTube. Okay. All right. I love y'all. Be safe out there because, yeah, these people are getting scary. These people are desperate. And just so y'all know, I don't know about you, but I will not be. It's probably going to get bloody because I won't surrender. I won't easily surrender. I will be one that they're always talking about the barge on at Gitmo at Guantanamo Bay. I'm probably going to be one that they're going to put in Gitmo if he gets back into the White House. Mm-hmm. And I promise you, I won't be the only one. Because, yeah, we're not going to sit by and allow this to happen. We're not. All right. All right. Y'all